The following interview with Hollis Wayne Fincher was conducted just prior to his return to prison on Tuesday, July 24, 2007.
This is Talking to America. I'm your host, Aaron Zellman. Our guest today is Wayne Fincher. He's involved in a fascinating case concerning the Second Amendment. Wayne, welcome to Talking to America.
Glad to be here, Aaron.
Why don't we just start with some basics? Tell us who you are and sort of give us some information about the case and some contact information.
Well, my name's Hollis Wayne Fincher. I'm 61 years old. I've lived on family land here practically all my life. My wife, Lynn, and I have been married 41 years. I live about a mile from where my grandfather had a blacksmith shop, a grist mill, and a country store, and I'm home.
Tell us about the controversy that you're involved in.
Well, about 1994, after 2 or 3 years of study, we started the militia called the Militia of Washington County, Arkansas, and we did the best we could do to go by the book to put together a proper constitutional militia. We have our own property in a 40 by 70 building. We've been there since we started our building in 1995. We formed up July the 4th, 1994, and that's our anniversary date every year. We're still there. On November 8th, 2006, I was arrested by the BATFE for having machine guns and various other arms, short barrel shotgun, short barrel rifle, had one silencer, a short barrel Uzi, and Sten guns and such, which would be appropriate arms for any militia. And I spent 7.5 months in the Sebastian County jail in the next county, south of us here from Washington County. I'm out just about the end of a 30-day period where I will have to self-report to the Forest City Federal Prison here Tuesday at 2 o'clock. And so we have went through a court case with them. I wasn't allowed to present any evidence, basically just to sit there and watch the trial go by. They used motion limine on me, and so the judge directed the jury that if I had the guns and I knew they were full auto, which of course I did, that they must convict, and they did eventually convict me. And so now we're working on an appeal. But the Second Amendment is still the law in this case.
So your case is based on using the Second Amendment as a defense?
Well, actually, you can't violate just one amendment generally, the 10th Amendment, the 9th Amendment, the 8th Amendment, excessive fines and penalties. I didn't get a 6th Amendment trial by jury of my peers, a fair and impartial jury, and on and on and on. So they violated our Republican form of government. They actually even violate the patent laws of the United States because they've given a monopoly on these types of arms since 1934 to corporations. These arms are produced continually. They treated these arms as contraband and used the Harrison Narcotics Act for an example of how they were going to do it. So it really violates a huge portion of our Constitution to disarm the people.
Do you think that's what they want to accomplish?
I don't see how you could sum it up and come up with any other finding on it.
Why don't we talk about how relevant the militia is today?
Well, Katrina would be a good example and there probably was some militia down there, but a place like that where you have a regional disaster, the militia are there, and it would be proper for them to stand up and bring as much peace and order back into it as quickly as they could in their own neighborhood. That's a classic example right there. We're a nation setting here. Even President Bush has said a nuclear charge shot off into the atmosphere could knock out computers over a huge area. And we have a northern border between Canada and ourselves, a southern border which is being overrun. We have the eastern and western seashore to protect, probably up the side of Canada and up around Alaska. We have Alaska setting off isolated. The Hawaiian Islands are sitting there, and if we were to get into a worldwide war again, we would probably have to defend Japan and Taiwan, Britain, and possibly Israel, the Panama Canal. We have hostile Cuba sitting off our shore about 90 miles, and a lot of hostile countries in South America. Would we want to go into this unarmed and the private citizen be stripped of their arms? I think a militia is more needful today as much as it ever was. A militia can be very functional. It's kind of like money in the bank. You have it there, and you hope you keep it there. But if you need it, it's there.
Speaking of the Arkansas militia, do you have some contact information for them?
Well, our website is arkansasmilitia.com, and that'll get you in, and you can find about anything you need there. Especially look up our document, Silver Bullet, and I believe you can contact someone there. If I need to be contacted, you'll find a way to get to me that way.
From what I understand, the government says you did not follow the law, and so they say you're guilty of not following the law. But can you elaborate on the effort you made to follow the law?
Well, we held open public meetings from March 17th to July the 4th, and we would have a lot of times upward around 100 people week after week after week. Some meetings weren't that large. We held them out in public meeting places, and the public of northwest Arkansas ordained, using our Arkansas Constitution as its authority, the Militia of Washington County. So we notified, later on, we notified the governor, we've notified the county sheriff, we've notified the BATFE, the Treasury Department, the congressmen, senators, state police of the state of Arkansas, attorney general. We've sent notices to all of them. We were here, and we were operating under Article 11 and other articles of the state and United States Constitution. And to this day, they've never rebutted it.
Okay, then, if they've never rebutted it, why is this controversy going on?
There's no controversy with me. It must be with someone else that can't...
It's with the government.
Yeah, can't read the laws or doesn't intend to obey the laws, one or the other. There is no controversy. The law speaks for itself.
What is the present militia movement in Arkansas like? Is it still active, still functioning?
There's a lot of it around. It's most of it's not as formal as we were, but everyone senses the need to be armed, and it's kind of an unspoken militia. It's there, but it's not visible so much. Okay.
It's been a long time since the Supreme Court has addressed the arguments in the Miller case. Maybe they've never have, as a matter of fact. Can you elaborate on your understanding of the Miller case and how it applies to the militia today and to your case?
Well, if we back up just a little bit, that's when the 1939, this was decided. There were two men from Claremore, Oklahoma, come over to Siloam Springs, Arkansas. That's the county just north of us. And ultimately, they were found possession of marijuana and a short-barrel shotgun, and they were taken to Fort Smith and arraigned. And I believe they pled guilty. If I understand right, the judge requested or suggested that they withdraw their guilty plea, and so they did. And they had an attorney. They put on a light-duty case, and the federal judge declared the 34 Gun Control Act, at least as far as it went to the shotgun, violated the Second Amendment and dismissed the case against them. The United States appealed it to the Supreme Court, and within the 15-day, I believe it was, time limit, as it came time to appear, Miller was found dead in Oklahoma. Layton had went on his way because he was turned loose, and no one appeared in front of the court